just makes me want to scream. Anyway, how is everybody today? It Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. Crazy, right? Okay. Hopefully everybody's with me. Yesterday, okay, this is bugging me. Yesterday we talked about fingering weight yarn, and so today I thought we would talk about worsted. No, I'm not going in order. If I went in order, I would start with either, oh dang it, I can't remember what the floss I think is what's called, or lace. So I'm just jumping around, and I'm going to put these videos on YouTube. And then I will also sort of tag them as best I can in here. So if you want to see what the differences are in the weights, you can find them. So, and also there's more construction going on today. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it or not, but it's crazy. I looked at this. I have like a little smattering of different kinds of worsted, and I just realized they're almost all in the same colorway. Just have it. Okay. So worsted weight is really the yarn you're going to see the most of if you go to some place like Joann's or Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Excuse me. Any of those places, the majority of the yarns they're going to have is worsted weight. If you go for like a regular, like a Red Heart Super Saver, that kind of stuff, they're usually worsted weight. I sort of say the regular weight. So because most people, when they see yarn, that's what they're used to seeing. However, there are, even within worsted, just like within fingering, there are differences. And so I've got sort of a variety here of different ones. So I'm going to go for, like, this is, yesterday I showed you Ultra Wool Fine. This is the regular Ultra Wool worsted from Berroco. This is sort of the most recognizable, I guess, type of yarn. You can see the thickness. In fact, here, I'll show you the difference. This is fingering, and this is, I put it over my finger, maybe you can see it. And okay, there we go. You can see the difference. It is quite a bit different. It's a little more than double, because we will talk about the double. Fix this back up again. We will talk about the double tomorrow, or maybe the next time. But worsted is great for basic sweaters, blankets, you name it. Worsted is great. If you are a new knitter, I always recommend starting with worsted. I don't usually start, a lot of people think they should start with chunky. I really rather people start with worsted, because chunky is just so big, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get your fingers on it and everything. That worsted is a good starting point. Okay, so this one is just a regular spun, nothing fancy. It's really pretty color because it's kind of heathered, but that's one. Okay, there's also, this is also a Berroco. This is called Comfort, and it's kind of a chainette. And a chainette means that it is, I wish you could see it better. Well, maybe, yeah, you can see it. Chainette means that it is not spun, but it's sort of woven. You can kind of see, it's not, you can see that it's not, see this one, you can see the twist on this one, but this one, it's more of a woven together. Hopefully you can see that. So this one is actually nylon and acrylic. This one is good for like baby blankets and stuff that you have to wash a whole bunch, because none of it's really going to shrink. So this one's not going to have the fluff or the fuzz on it either that a wool will have. So that's something to think about too. If you want something that is going to be next to a baby's face, or want something and you don't want the fuzz, it's a good one to try for that. So this is called chainette, is the type of manufacture. Okay. Then I've got a couple here of single ply. Now, single ply, this is Lanaloft from Brown Sheep. I like this one for learning on because it's got a little bit more tooth to it, which means it's not going to just like fall out. If your needles come out, which they do when you're a beginner, or if you drop a stitch or whatever, it's not going to just fall out and you have to start over. This stuff holds its shape. This stuff is really good for felting. This is called single ply. Single ply means it's just twisted once, and that's the entire yarn. So you take fluff, you take the oh my brain just went blank of what it's called. Anyway, you take what you spin, I'll think of it in a second. You take what you spin and you twist it. Now, a lot of times in regular type of yarn, you will take those two singles and ply them together and it makes it stronger. But it's only spun once and that is it. And it's perfectly strong, but single ply wool yarn will felt like crazy and it's awesome for stuff like that. If you want to do like a pair of slippers and you want them felted, or if you do like a little bag and you want it nice and thick and felted, this is the way to go. I've done slippers out of this and it did a beautiful job. And I know friends that have done the little bags and then they sew in a zipper. Perfect for that. So that is single ply. I'm going to hold it up a little closer so you can see. This other one might be a little easier to see. The thing about single ply, this is Malabrigo. This is worsted Malabrigo. The thing about single ply is that sometimes it's a little thick and thin. This one is a little bit even more than the other one. You can see some of the strands are not completely uniform. So you'll have a little bit of thick and thin, some more than others. I just finished, I think I showed a picture or held it up or something. Chainette well suited to knitting cables. You know what? It would probably be really good, Kate, because it would be a lot of stitch definition. So yeah, I think it probably would. But anyway, I showed you, or I put on video, I can't remember what I was doing now, but I did a Noro capelet and it was single ply worsted, only it was really thick and thin. So it was like stuff like this all the way to almost a chunky. So worsted can mean a lot of things too. All right, this one is somewhere sort of in the middle. It is spun. It's not a single ply, but it's a little thick and thin. So it's kind of fun. And plus, I mean, look at that color. This is Unique Worsted from Earth Yarns. And let me pull one up a little bit. Like that piece right there, you can see it's not totally uniform. This one's pretty close to uniform. You know what? I'm going to show you. One sec. I'm going to do the cowl, find the cowl that I did in this. You can see what it looks like. All right. I mean, what would it be without me moving on a video, right? Okay, so this is this. This is technically they call it self-striping, but to me, self-striping is the one where the stripes are even. So, but it's stripes. But this is that yarn knit up. Now, it may look thick and thin on here, but this stuff is very adjustable, I guess. So when you've got it all knitted in, it kind of fills itself in. So, and I love the way this thing knit up, and it knit up so fast. It was a lot of fun. And don't forget, you can get the Earth Yarns on special order drop ship, and they will send them to you. Sorry, hang on. I got to set this down so I don't drop it. They will send it directly to your house. And that's really cool because you don't have to order. I don't have to order a bag. You can try whatever you want. I've tried. Remember I showed you. These are my tries. Okay. I got one more to show you. And it's kind of like the Earth Yarn, only it is more it is more uniform. But I love the way they did this. This is it. Yes, it is. It's almost like a built-in fade, and this one is too. This is much more subtle, of course, than this one. But again, this is a spun, but it's really smooth. This one's not going to have a whole lot of loft to it, and it's got different, it's really hard to see on the video. This one's very subtle. You can see it's got some green in the middle there. It's hard to see. But again, worsted. Now this one's a little bit thicker than, say, a lot of this one. I mean, look at the difference. So that's really why it's so important to do a gauge swatch. Now, if you're doing a shawl or something like that, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're doing something that even needs a little bit of fit, or you're not really sure if you're going to have enough yarn or whatever, you really need to do a gauge swatch. I mean, it's not the most fun thing, but you have to like kind of trick yourself into enjoying it. It's the first time you get to use that yarn, so you get to play with it and see how it works up and all that stuff, and you get to do like a little fun playtime with it. So I kind of have learned to trick myself into it, plus the fact that yes, I have done sweaters where I've knit the whole thing thinking, oh well, it's the same weight, it's a worsted weight or whatever it is, and all of a sudden I get to the end and it doesn't fit me at all. I've done that twice now. Give them away. It's fine. Somebody else will use them. But, you know, knitting a sweater takes a while and it's not cheap. And so you want to gauge it, and you want to, even for something like, if you want to do a cowl that's pretty shaped, you might want to gauge it. You might want to kind of get a test of it. I don't gauge shawls like regular, triangular shawls. That's not the size is not necessary for me. But if you're doing something that has any fit at all, I would gauge it. Okay, so that's a good smattering of the different worsted weight yarns. And if you have any other questions, just let me know. Worsted is a great winter weight for Corpus. The nice thing about it is you can get away with just wearing that sweater or whatever, and you won't have to wear a coat. So that's a good thing, right? All right. Thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.